Yeah, sorry for the video. Last couple minutes are gonna be a little brutal, so you're just gonna have to bear with me. Just enjoy what I have to say. Hopefully, you like it. And yeah, that's it, man. Hi, welcome again to another special episode. I'm hoping I could do again my best to entertain you guys. And really, once more, my name is Agumon, and I'm showing one of my toys again. I don't really show much, but I'm very excited, and I want to talk about one of my other collections that I recently bought. I was hesitant to buy this, but because I'm such a big fan of the Shazam merch and everything that's going on, the whole history behind it, that I feel obligated to purchase everything that is Shazam. And one of the many toy collections I have right here is, of course, as you can see, his evil counterpart, Black Adam, played by The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. And well, I got him, and here you go. And I can't say I hated the movie. I didn't like the movie. I thought it was okay, whatever. You know, um, it was decent, like most of the Shazam movies. Also, but honestly, I can't believe that we got 3 movies out of this. I would like to say that we got 3 Shazam movies because I mean he is um, his exact evil counterpart. I mean they rock the same costume, and it's more than we got out of the Superman movies. Um, I would like to see a continuation of that. Hopefully, they could keep going with the movies. I mean, you still can, but that's for another um, topic, I guess. But really, I want to open this guy up. In the meantime, just talk about the history behind this character and everything he represents. Um, just going out by the name, Black Adam says everything. It has a biblical weight to it. Adam being the first man who ate the apple, and black, reminiscent of evil. Um, it's almost like well, a nephew to God Himself. How evil can you get with that? But the story behind it is about this man given the abilities of all, probably say 6 or Egyptian gods, and well, the guy gets crazy with power once more, and he becomes obsessed with all the ideas of the 7 deadly sins. Greed, pride, lust. He falls in love with Isis, and it was a big no-no, especially for him. And there's many stories behind him, whether he was the Dark Priest or a king or something like that, depending where you want to go. Other times he was a slave, like they portrayed him in the movies, and once he gains those powers, he decides, you know what, I'm just gonna take this from myself and become a god myself, since I'm already a god. Um, it's a pretty fantastical story, and I would like to say he was the inspiration for, Kratos from God of War. I mean, the blueprint is there. Um, everything that happened in the video games was very reminiscent of this character. Him taking the powers of all the Greek gods and shouting to them like, Zeus, I will get you, I will have my vengeance, all that stuff, and you'll see in the comics where he's just like yelling, I will have my power, I will have my vengeance, and all that stuff, and that's pretty much how he is, man. He was pretty much in it to just get rid of all these deities, and why he hates Shazam so much, it's because, well, he stands in the way of him becoming the most powerful ruler. Shazam has the ability to turn him back into his mortal self, and that's a big no-no. He's got to get rid of him. And one of my mom made some rice pudding. Get some of that rice pudding. But like I said, I'm looking to open this guy up. You might not think that, have doubts about the whole God of War. Maybe you played the game and you're just like, what? No way. But as I was going through the game back in when it first started, I was kind of surprised how similar he was to Black Adam. I'm a big fan of the character, and from my understanding is that there was an actor who was the model for Kratos' body structure when developing the games, and he was somewhat of an actor, not really. He was trying to. You see him in a couple movies. I can't remember, one of those Adam Sandler movies. You'll see him there. Where he was like a golfer, I believe. No, some sort of football player, and no, and he was the guy, the jock, who was talking mad, being rude to the lady, and then Adam Sandler's character calls his dad and tells him like, yeah, he was being mean to the ladies, and the dad was like, really? And he whips out his gun, and the guy's like, no, Dad, no. Yeah, it's funny. And the guy was like really eager to play Shazam, apparently. There was rumors circulating, he was trying to really take advantage of that hype, and it would have been interesting. But yeah, there were many other actors as well eager for the role. But like I said, the whole idea of this character is to portray there's the 7 deadly sins, and I would say, man, he's the eighth sin, like the sin of evil. Can't have, there's times to be evil, but you can't be too evil. There's times when you have to be able to do the things that evil people do in order to get rid of those evil people, and sometimes you have to become sort of like them. But he goes all the way evil, and for whatever reason they just decided to make him anti-hero or villain or whatever. I didn't like that idea, but either way, it didn't go for like a second movie. Well, because of this guy, he was just too ambitious to take over the franchise, and just didn't work for the Warner Brothers industry, but hey, I guess he almost convinced to bring back Superman, have him fight and everything. But let's just open this guy up. I don't know. see, we're gonna get a little handy dandy box cutter right here. Yeah, it's a very interesting character. I mean, just the idea that this character exists really brought a lot of competition, I would say, from my point of view. Like I said, she's Captain Marvel, or aka Shazam, or I would say was the original Superman. You know, it's funny that I have to say there's a lot of legal things going on, but Shazam, Captain Marvel, brought along a lot of characters that really changed the way Superman should go about, other than fighting just low-level, you know, characters. You know, like I said, Superman couldn't even fly. I'm not even sure he had any X-ray vision or anything like that. But when Shazam came about, one of these villains was, and it's so funny that came about, just Black Adam. That's the name that he was given. You know, not Mr. Black or whatever character that they could come up with, but Black Adam, and just that name has weight, you know, and it really speaks volume to who he is. It says evil right away, and you know, and what the heck is this? It's all falling apart. Anyway, here we go. Right there. There's this chair. Right there. Let's see if we can. You can handle it. He's a mortal guard. And but you know what? I think they can get away with making another franchise, but really you just gotta start off with a Shazam. I think toys he can get away with it really because you never fully embrace the idea that he makes Superman. Here he is, and just pop his chest back out, and put this right here. See if we can make him stand right there. There we go. How's that? Right there. And there you go. I mean, you know, I didn't mind The Rock being Black Adam, but the fact that he had to change so much of his story, the history, the origin, just to fit into his narrative, really bums me out. I mean, don't get me wrong. The movie was decent. They did a good job picking a villain much more evil. I mean, literally he was fighting a little demon, and I thought it was pretty cool, you know. Put on the movie, you know, pop out a couple boosters, just chill, vibe, and just have a good time, and you enjoy it, you know. Just a little side comparison, like I showed you on the last one. I got mine right here. And I might as well open this guy up because I've been eager to really show you guys. You know, I'm into that guy. He's just chilling, you know. And yeah, what more can I say other than I love the character. Although he's like the evil counterpart, they're both rocking the same costume almost. It's just all in black. And I think I embrace it, you know. And I think if you're looking to do a little side comparison with Kratos and this guy, you'll find that there are a lot of similarities to each other. Let's see, trouble. Oh, there's more tape. You know, he might not have the blades, but he does have a lightning. Here we go. Some more cutting to do. No worries. And it also comes with this cape. Wow. And it's pretty heavy, I'm not gonna lie. But just gonna put this right there. Clicks on in right there, look at that. One side comparison right there. I went through a lot of obstacles just to get this guy out, but I would say I'm a big time Shazam fan. I know it's kind of odd for me to say, But I think the old heads were would be understand me a lot more. But who knows? Things are kind of changing, especially with social media. People are debating. Lately, you've seen a downgrade in Superman's powers. People are coming up with other versions of Superman and wondering, okay, who's gonna win? Who's the strongest? You got characters like, Goku, was being talked a lot. Characters like Omni-Man, characters like Homelander, and it's raising questions whether Superman should be that overpowered. And me personally, I think they just need to do a lot more explanation to how his powers work. They're not really explaining to us. Some people say that he should be buff. Which I kind of agree, but it all depends on those powers, how they work. Other times they just make him into like a normal human being, and then you present him with these large scale superheroes. It raises questions. You gotta test them, and there you go, just like that. And yeah, do a little side comparison. When he's first arrived, he had that kind of rugged look, like he hasn't transformed back in a while as his human form, and all that glow on the cuffs, on the golden metal, sort of just started to decay, and you see buildup of dirt and rust just forming, and he just looks old. I think it looks badass, and I thought the symbol on his chest looked pretty sick. And when he transformed again, he got a new cape. All his gauntlets and gold just turned clean. It was like brand new, so really showed a different way of telling the story of how his powers work. Like I said, there's different interpretations how he came to be and how his powers work. When he transforms back into his mortal form, oftentimes he's kind of still aging within his godly body. So if he transforms back, he'll instantly age and then die, or he'll just never grow. He'll never get old, and he'll basically go back to where he started in the previous form. Yeah, and I think it's pretty sick. Let's put him on that chair real quick. Let's see how it goes. Let's see. Oh, just like that. Kind of. There you go. Come on, Daddy. Come on, Daddy. Don't do me like that. What the heck? Almost there. go. How's that? Well, I'll fix them later on. But yeah, man, you know, you could do a lot with this character. The fact that Shazam exists, everything that he represents, with being able to create whatever you want, fantasize whatever you can imagine, gives weight to the character, or the character gives weight to the idea, gives strength to that idea that you could do anything. And honestly, you can make games out of that. They recently had a comic book called Justice League KO, and I would like much more for like Black Adam. Maybe he creates this world, he gets super strong and creates this world where he decides to make everyone just fight each other, and he's just like the one pulling the strings. And that would have been interesting, but that wasn't the case in the comics. I don't know who, I haven't been keeping up with the comics, but there were rumors that they were going to bring in Dragon Ball Z characters, or at least that's what I heard. I haven't been able to keep up. I bought like maybe 1 and 2, but unfortunately that just kind of slowed down. But it would have been interesting. Trying my best to keep the story going, but other than that, well, not much I can do other than, like I said, my name is Agumon, and I hope I can entertain you guys. Thank you very much.